So we have the First Berserker Khazan, and I really wanted to do a full-on review for this. However, I'm not going to be able to because this is expected to be quite a long game. And not only do I have a lot of different games I want to cover and do videos for, but I've also got stuff happening in the real world too. So I just do not have enough time to get myself through this entire game. But even before it released, I was watching quite a few videos from Fighting Cowboy. And I've also managed to capture a little over an hour's worth of gameplay, like sit down and play for a little over an hour, just so that I can get some actual hands-on, so that I'm not talking about what I've seen, I'm talking about what I've actually played. And within the first hour, like my bit of gameplay, I think this is a really, really good Souls-like game. So you start this game off with some dual wields, and they are really good weapons to use. And what the game does is takes you through like the first essentially chapter. You're going to be fighting your standard trash mobs, you're going to have a couple of like hidden elite enemies, then you're going to have some bosses and everything. And I think the combat in this one is incredibly fluid. The game runs nice and smooth, it looks good, and I really like the gear in this one as well. But it is a Souls-like, so if you die in this one, which you can expect quite a lot, you're going to lose what's basically your currency for leveling up. And then if you do lose it, you have to go back to where you died and run over the currency to pick it back up, otherwise you will lose it forever. So what you do in this game is make your way through the different areas, you make progress in the story, and you upgrade your gear whilst you're doing so. You are going to be given a bunch of different gear very, very early on. You're going to get different armor sets, or what I'm going to call armor sets. Some of them are going to give you bonus health, extra damage, better stamina recovery. And being a Souls-like, you have your bonfires where you can level up and spend your currency. They've obviously got a different name in this game. But you've also got your blocking or your guarding, you've got parries, you've got counter-attacks. And what I like about this one is the way they've set up those mechanics, because you can just basically stand there and guard. Your stamina is going to deplete, however your health won't be touched pretty much. And what you need to do is try to time those guards to turn them into basically a parry, drain the enemy's stamina, and then you can make them become exhausted, where you can pull off like a brutal attack that deals a lot more damage. It's kind of like a finishing move, except it doesn't always finish them off, it just deals increased damage. And you play through, you explore, you find all these different like resources, consumables, gear pieces, and then you'll start taking down like the boss of the area. You'll move on. There's a place called the Crevice, which is basically your main hub. There you'll be able to boost all of your stats, you'll be able to like deconstruct some of the gear you don't want anymore, and that's where you'll pick your next journey. And then one of the most interesting things about this game comes into play. This is a Souls-like. Think of Dark Souls and Elden Ring. They are Souls-likes, incredibly difficult games that do not give you a lot of room for error. And then you have the First Berserker Khazan. This Souls-like will offer you two difficulties. You can play on normal, which is the way the game is intended to be played, or if you are struggling, they have put in accessibility features to help you guys out, and they have put an easy mode in the game, where you're still going to have like almost the same experience, except all of the combat is going to be easier. You're not going to die as often, you're going to kill enemies a little bit faster. And some people are going to complain, oh, why are you catering to the small percentage of people that can't get on with a Souls-like? But I think it's good, because you don't have to play on the easy mode. You choose easy or normal, and you can change it in the settings at any time. I like the fact that they have gone, we're going to have the balls to like basically add something in that some people will appreciate and don't often get in a game of this style. I like that they haven't just gone, right, you've got one basic game mode, you've got the same difficulty across the board, have fun. However, I think there's one thing I disagree with, because I've looked at some of the reviews for this game, and apparently they started nerfing the bosses because there were complaints, and now those bosses are ridiculously easy. And I don't think that should ever be the case. Add in the accessibility, give people an easy difficulty setting. I just don't like it when a game comes out and there's like nerfs and buffs all over the place. Because not only does that mess up the balancing of the game, but it also completely ruins what the developers have for their vision. If it's something ridiculous, like a boss can one-hit you and you can't deal any damage to it, then balancing's obviously needed. However, I think if there was something that extreme, it'd be a bug, it wouldn't be a lack of balancing. But for the most part, when it comes to buffs and nerfs, I think it just ruins the vision of the devs. They've like put a lot of work into creating, say, a boss. This boss comes along and it hands a couple of people's asses to them. Those people don't like it. They complain. The developers go, right, we'll have a look. And then they start doing all the balancing. They adjust all of the damage numbers, the health numbers, and they make the bosses easier. And then for those people that wanted a challenge with that boss, they can no longer get it. And yes, there is an easy mode in this game. However, it is still a Soulslike, so it is designed to be a difficult game. And I'm actually gutted. I really wanted to be able to put so much more time into this game, but I just physically cannot do it. What I will be doing is playing the game over time. Every time I get a little bit of spare time, I'll put some more gameplay hours in. But my plan was to get out a review for this game as quick as I possibly could. And not only is this estimated to be quite a long game, but I just also couldn't put in enough time quick enough to get out a review before people are like, oh, well, I completed the game a week ago. Like, with the spare time I've got at the moment to play this game, it would probably be a good couple of months or so before I actually get a review out. So it's pointless me aiming for one. I might as well just play it in my own spare time. Say when I get a spare hour, just jump on, chill on the game. And if there's anything I want to bring to you guys about the game in the future, then I might make the odd video or two. But I wanted to get this one out there so that there was still hype around the game, basically. But I wanted to get this one out there because I did play an hour. I think it was a little over, like an hour and 15 minutes or something, and I really enjoyed it. I think if this was nowhere near as good as it was, then I wouldn't even bother with the video, but I feel like I had to talk about this one. There has been so many Souls-likes, I'm going to say, since Elden Ring. It was kind of like that Battle Royale trend we had. Well, that trend started with Souls-likes as soon as Elden Ring released and it had so much popularity. And at least from what I have played of this, the First Berserker Khazan definitely deserves your attention. And I mean, it is going to set you back 50 quid if you're buying it through Steam. But with that 50 quid, I am confident that you are going to get some good value. You're going to get some good quality gameplay. There's a lot of different gear in the game. There are some really cool bosses. There is fluid, smooth combat. There are really good like dodge, parry, guards, mechanics, whatever you want to call them. So yeah, if you are looking for a modern Souls-like, like basically one that's just recently released, the First Berserker Khazan is actually an awesome Souls-like game. And on that note, we are going to leave that video there. Let me know your thoughts and stuff about this game in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you enjoyed it.